Hi, my name's Eli, and I recently realized I am a targeted individual. Um, I came to this realization after a pretty traumatizing work trip to Hawaii. Um, it was, see, I had noticed some surveillance on my computer and my phone before that, probably even years before that, but I never really thought anything of it too much. I figured, well, they're doing this to everybody. Um, so anyway, I've done construction for a long time. I grew up in Southern California. I was born in Utah, but I've lived in Southern California since I was 5 years old. Um, uh, so my construction boss a few months ago was telling me, yeah, would you like to go to Hawaii because we're gonna be going there to work and stuff, and we're working, it was gonna be with him, his stepson, and his brother-in-law, the stepson's uncle, because they're like a family business. I'm like one of the only ones that's not part of their family. Anyway, so I said, yeah, I'd love to go. I love Hawaii. I've been to Maui before, so we were going to go to the Big Island and be doing a construction job there. So anyway, we ended up getting there, and everything was going good. We were working hard, working on Saturday too, and so what happened was, I was starting to notice that all these guys were starting to really pick on me, and I didn't really know why. And especially the boss, he was going really hard with the verbal abuse and even saying things like he was going to rape me, you know. And I figured that's just because he had done his time in prison. Maybe he had gotten raped and some of that trauma was coming out, or whatever it was. So anyway, it was going okay though, and I was enjoying myself regardless of what these guys were trying to do to me. So then, like a few weeks in, we were driving around after work and just kind of sightseeing, and so I got in an argument with the stepson over something stupid, and he tends to get real angry and just go overboard, and so he keeps going and talking crap, and so finally I say to my employer, why don't you tell your kid to shut the fuck up? And so then he looks at the stepson, they look at each other, and about 5 seconds later the stepson just punches me in the face really hard, and then he just starts hitting me. He probably hit me 10 or 15 times in the head. He's wearing rings on his right hand, so I had bruises and cuts on my head. So then the stepson, this guy, he's a big boy too. He's like 250 pounds. He outweighs me by a ton. And it's not like I'm really scared of physical confrontations, because I've been attacked before, and I've literally been on the street when I was 17 years old, getting in fights with gangs on the street and stuff. So I'm not afraid of physical violence, but I'm a peaceful type of person. I don't go and pick fights with people. I've never been that way. Everybody that really knows me knows that I try and treat people, with courtesy and kindness whenever I can. And I don't try and, I'm not the type of person that tries to bring people down or hurt innocent people. I never will be like that. And so anyway, so we kind of squashed it after that, and I was like, oh, I know he's got anger. I kind of figured, you know, he's got anger problems. I had a chance to hit him back, but I didn't. I didn't want to lose my job, and plus I didn't want to get jumped or killed by these guys because, you know, they outnumbered me, and they're all kind of tight little family, and I'm not part of that family. So anyway, time goes by, and oh wait, that night after everybody went to bed, I took a picture of my face with the phone on my camera just in case, and I sent it to my father, and so I deleted it off my phone because just in case one of these guys found it on my phone, I didn't want to be retaliated on and stuff. So I sent it to my father as backup, thinking that he would keep it. And boy, was I in for a rude awakening. So and I texted him and let him know what happened to me and stuff, and he was saying some weird stuff like, oh, did you apologize? And I was thinking, why the hell would I apologize for getting my ass kicked? Like, what the hell is, you know? And so I thought that was really weird, but I didn't think into it too much. I mean, I was just so busy working and stuff. So a little bit of time goes by, and the verbal abuse just keeps increasing with you know, my employer, and he's just being a total dick all the time. And so one night he's like, he starts drinking, you know, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna rape you and this and that, and I'm just like, dude, I got knives. And you should have seen the look on this guy's face. He looked like Bambi in the headlights. I mean, this muscled out, tattoo covered dude just looked like he got hit with a freaking ray of light, and looked pretty surprised. And so I think it was that night he ends up breaking something in his bathroom and like throwing a little tantrum, and the uncle goes in there and he comes out and he's like, oh, he's crying. So we're kind of like, why is this guy crying? I mean, this guy's the boss. He can't even hold his emotions together. He's acting really weird. And so so then he ends up like later telling us, oh, I miss my wife so much, I'm gonna fly back to California to see her, and then I'll fly back. And we're just like, you know, we don't get to go back and see our families or see our kids. I mean, what's up with the special treatment? And well, I guess he's the boss and whatever, but so we thought that was sort of unfair, but it wasn't that huge of a deal. But he was acting pretty wimpy, in my opinion. So yeah, we keep working hard, and he's and so that weekend the boss is gone, and the stepson ended up going to bed early, and then me and the uncle were hanging out for a while. And so we're drinking, having a good time, just having conversation. And so he ends up getting really edgy after a while as he keeps drinking. He starts acting kind of weird, like something came over him, and he ends up punching me. You know, it wasn't really hard, it didn't really hurt. And then all I remember is he was like saying all this weird stuff that didn't really sound like him. It sounded like almost like somebody else was speaking through him, if that makes sense. So I kind of just forgot about it and went to sleep, and so the next morning I had to get some laundry out of the or I had to dry some laundry that I hadn't finished. So I had the dryer going, and the uncle was all crashed out, all hungover, and just wasn't getting up for work. Wasn't going to work. So I had the dryer going for a minute, and he just starts screaming at the top of his lungs, just freaking out, like basically threatening to kill me if I didn't shut the dryer off. I'm like, wow, this guy's out of his mind. He's like sounded completely psychotic, screaming at the top as loud as he possibly could scream at me. And you know, I understand he's hungover, whatever, but I mean, he was going a little overboard with the death threats and stuff. So whatever, maybe he's a tortured soul or whatever's going on. But I actually liked the guy, and that's what makes me sad. Is I felt like we were friends, and for him to turn against me is hurtful and stuff. But I'm not going to dwell on that. So the next day, yeah, so that day I go to work in wet clothes. I couldn't even dry my clothes. And then so I go to work, and then the stepson's being stupid. He's talking all this crap and like just being a usual dick like he always is. And yeah, it was kind of pissing me off because I was already a little shaken up from all the experiences. And this guy was just, and I was kind of giving him some crap back and just letting him know, you know, I'm not going to take this kind of stupid shit, this immature crap. And so I got fed up after lunch by about 1 o'clock. I just took off, and I went to find the designer at her condo, and finally got a hold of her. It took like an hour and a half. She was like hiding out almost. So finally got her with the help of the really nice maintenance lady there, and told her everything that happened. She had me write it down, and she kept the paper, which I thought was kind of weird. And she's like, I'm going to tell these guys. And I'm like, no, don't tell them. You know, I don't know if these guys are going to try and kill me or what. She's like telling me to go back to work and all this stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm not going back there. I mean, I've been attacked and harassed and all kinds, I mean, you name it. And so she breaks down. She comes out with the plane ticket. She's like, I'm gonna have this AC guy give you a ride to the airport. And so then she's like, I'm gonna give you 1 day before I tell these guys and show them what you wrote down. And so I'm like, okay. So I get to the airport, and my flight is at I think it was at like 9:15, and see, my boss was getting back at the same airport at 7:45 that night. So I was kind of tripping out, like, oh man, he's gonna know, and he's gonna freaking try and come after me, or something is gonna happen. And at the airport, I filed a police report with the Kona police, and they were telling me, well, you know, my scars had healed from the really bad beating, you know, with the stepson with the rings on, so I couldn't really prove. It was like my word against theirs. I couldn't really prove it. So he was like, you know, if I go arrest them, I might have to arrest you if they make a complaint against you. So it was like I couldn't really do anything. My hands were tied. So my time is up, so I'm going to continue on the next segment.